in Killarney, Johannesburg, after meeting a British national shortly after the first confirmed COVID-19 case in South Africa. So let's chat to them. We've got Dishana Gangaram and Himal Gangaram. They're both in self-quarantine at the moment, and they don't have coronavirus. They have tested. They're negative at this point, but they in precautions, just self-quarantining. Both of you, thanks so much for chatting to us. Good to have you here on Morning Live.
Hi, good to have you. Good to be here, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose good to have me in your home. That's a nice thing, because I might be one of the only visitors that's come in via Skype visiting you in the morning. How long have you guys been in quarantine for?
So we've actually been self-isolating from the first case and social distancing. I think a lot of people only started social distancing from Cyril's first announcement. Because of Himal's health and because we've been following the case from overseas, we took it upon ourselves to social distance. We were avoiding gatherings, avoiding shaking hands, avoiding a lot of visitors, hugging and all of that. And we took it upon ourselves to fully isolate, I would say, and quarantine because we just happened to be at a gathering where a foreigner had just arrived from the UK. So I think it was just a responsible thing to do. I think for everyone who is feeling a bit ill, for everyone who has come into contact with the traveler or people who have traveled, it's very, very important that you stay home. You don't go grocery shopping, you don't visit your friends. So yes, we've actually, in essence, been social distancing for about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And been in full isolation, working from home, not leaving the house for 2 weeks.
That is incredible. I mean, how's it been for you? You know, I mean, not to make light of it, but what's it done for your relationship? Has it made it stronger, or do you find that you're fighting a lot?
I think I already had a work from home business, and my husband's very flexible. He's a music producer. So we're very used to being in each other's spaces and being very flexible and working together in the same area together. I think we've been fine. I think
we've been good.
Yeah, we've been enjoying it. I think the discomfort has come in when we've seen people not taking it seriously, because obviously Himal is immunocompromised and we are worried about his health. And I think the only tension has come in when we've seen the rising numbers, when we've seen that people aren't adhering to social distancing, because social distancing doesn't mean that you've gotten off from work, but you can go for golf and you can go to a party or you can go to a restaurant. Social distancing means that you distance yourself socially unless it's absolutely necessary. And I just hope that now with Cyril's newest announcement that people take it seriously, they stay at home. If you're feeling sick, stay at home, get somebody else to buy your groceries or order online if you're privileged enough to do so. Even your pharmaceuticals, you can order from Dis-Chem. They will deliver at no added charge for medication. So we just need to think of ways to stay at home if we are feeling sick, because the biggest thing about spreading this disease is, even if you have the mildest flu symptoms, it could be the flu or it could be COVID, but the key is you need to just be at home and look at your other resources, be together as a community.
Yeah. We've been gymming together from home, so that's been pretty nice. I think that we get to spend a lot of time like that together. So yeah, reading, trying to draw, sketch. It is a bit difficult in my industry because we usually have to meet the artists in studio, in our recording studios, and we're just trying to take it easy right now.
Which is it's the right way to go. I mean, I think that this is kind of what's going to be happening to South Africans if we have to see forward from tomorrow night. I mean, we are going to all be at home. We don't have a choice. We have to be there. Obviously, we're still waiting for a lot more of the regulations to be announced today by the various departments in terms of what time we can go to the shop, when, how, what, all of that kind of stuff. But Himal, I just want to ask you another question in terms of going for the actual test. I know that some have spoken about it, and it's quite I suppose they take that swab and they go quite high up in your nose and then waiting for those results. What is it like? I mean, emotionally and psychologically, it can't be an easy thing to go through, especially that you already are immunocompromised. Talk to us about the process for you.
Yeah, it is pretty difficult. The first couple of days, because the tests don't come the results don't come back immediately, you start worrying, and I think your mind plays a lot with it as well. And you're like, oh no, I've got a cough, or it's very stressful. But it came back a week later. It did take long, but we do understand that the numbers are high. People have been testing. It was pretty difficult. I was sort of panicking in a sense. I do have asthma as well, so I'd have these asthma attacks and these little panic attacks. But I've got an amazing wife who calms me down and just makes sure that everything is going to be okay.
I think to add to the process was very considered. They didn't swab his nose; they swabbed the back of his throat quite deep. And what the doctors did instill is, if you suspect you have COVID, and I want to say this to the nation, is Himmel was panicked and he was worried because he was having difficulty breathing, but he was already sick with the seasonal flu 2 weeks prior.
Right, yeah.
So I reassured him that, he already had that seasonal flu, he already had an upper respiratory infection, and it could just be that working its way out. And we didn't panic, we didn't rush to ER, we didn't rush to the GP, because that's not the correct thing to do, because you're just going to spread the virus. It's highly contagious. We phoned our GP, and she asked us a set of questions, which were you sick before? Have you been in contact with anyone who's tested positive? Have you been in contact with a healthcare professional who is testing? And have you been in contact with a traveler? And because we ticked the box of being in contact with a traveler, that was the only motivation for her testing Himmel, because she said, he's high risk. I have no need for a test because I'm a healthy individual. And if I get it, I need to just stay away from Himmel and stay at home. But for him, he needs to get tested in case there is higher measures we need to put in place.
And for the first week, we did.
We isolated from each other. We didn't sleep in the same room just to take precautions because he was feeling ill. And she said most likely that seasonal flu that he had moved into his chest, which is the natural progression of any flu. And the seasonal flu this year is quite bad.
Yeah. Well, guys, listen, it's been so interesting listening to your story, and we wish you well over this time. I mean, 3 weeks so far in quarantine. Now you're heading into another 21 days. You're going to know each other inside out, and we wish you the best. It looks great. I mean, you guys look like you're doing really well. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Stay home.
Thank you. We're going, I think we're all going to. Dishana and Himmel Gangaram, they have self-quarantined since coming into contact with somebody that did have coronavirus. They since tested negative, but they've just been taking all the precautions because particularly Himmel is immunocompromised, suffering from